Oh, the post-game show. Terry Ford. Jay will be with us here in just a little bit as we roll till 6 here on the Game Network, at the Game TV radio and YouTube. Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Florence, Columbia, wherever you're hanging out, we appreciate you deeply as we kick the post-game show. Obviously, and we're going to get to it and fire the cuts up for you in the next segment. If you didn't hear them, Bill played them here in the 2 o'clock hour. But once again, Paul Mainieri talking to the media in Baton Rouge about his time at South Carolina. And my first thought is, why? Man, you're back home. You're back in your place, your hood, with your people who love you because you were incredibly successful. The whole South Carolina thing, look, it didn't work, man. You know, you're in over your head. You'd been out of the game for a while. You even admitted in this whole interview you don't understand. You didn't really fully grasp how different it was in the world of NIL and transfer portals. It just didn't work, man. It's okay. You know, now South Carolina's moved on. You should do the same. Again, South Carolina is digging through the rubble of what you did for 2 seasons. You're loved at LSU. People in South Bend, Indiana like you because you were successful at Notre Dame. Here, you know, not so much. A different feeling. Different feelings come through when we do word association of, hey, Paul Mainieri. Maybe that sticks in your craw that, you know, you are looked at whatever way you perceived you're being looked at for your 80-game stint here in Columbia. But just let it go and move on, man. It's not like you hadn't have success before you showed up. South Carolina was very successful as well before you showed up. Things don't work. We'll play those cuts coming up here in just a little bit, but my first thought was, why? Why? And when the media comes to you to talk, and they want you to talk about it there in Baton Rouge because they're trying to get some clicks and some content before SEC Media Days, because as soon as Monday hits, folks in Baton Rouge aren't going to care. So I get it. People are looking for stuff. But I don't know, if I'm Paul Mainieri, I'm like, oh man, I talked about that with the on NOLA.com. I don't want to dig back up in that again. I said my piece. I'm moved on. But that didn't happen. Like I said, we'll play that cuts coming up in the next segment. Last night, I kind of had it on in the background, and thank God I didn't really sit and watch it. Not the most compelling, exciting. The home run derby was more exciting than the game. Major League Baseball All-Star Game last night. I would say this. If you have a DVR still and you still have the old school DVR where you can record shows, I hope you recorded it, because if you ever have trouble sleeping, put that sucker on, you will be out in no time. Look, if you love dominant pitching, you love that, because the American League, their guys took the hill and just mowed down National League hitters. Half of the National League's batters struck out. So if you enjoy good pitching, dominant pitching, and helpless hitters, last night was your wheelhouse. If you like some action, like on the bases, not your night. And it just again was not very exciting. I appreciate great pitching. You can't win without great pitching. And, you know, this isn't the first All-Star game where pitching dominated hitting, but there was one extra base hit in the whole game. And that was that the Vargas from the White Sox went yard late to make it 4-0. Cody Bellinger, and this is nothing against Cody Bellinger, that might be the worst MVP of an All-Star game in my lifetime. 2-run single up the middle. hey, you're the MVP. Why? Nobody else did anything offensively. Here's what I would have done, because I truly believe you need to give the most deserving person the MVP award. I would have given the MVP award to the entire American League pitching staff. Everybody that towed the rubber last night for the American League, you get a piece of the MVP award. Because that's who deserved it. Even Cody Bellinger was like almost embarrassed. He's like, hey, Cody Bellinger, you're the American League MVP. Speak about your performance. You know how they do that. How do you feel about your performance? Got a single up the middle. That's all. I mean, and then he said, but hey, man, that pitching was dominant, wasn't it? So, yeah, it was, again, it's nothing against Cody Bellinger, but I would have given the MVP award to the entire American League pitching staff. Figure out however you want to do it. Your Major League Baseball, you got a lot of money. Give everybody that pitched, they get a piece of the MVP award. Whatever you get for winning the MVP award, divvy it up. I don't know. But that's really who should have got the award. But does it go to a bigger thing about pitching in general in baseball and how it's dominating hitting? I mean, it's an all-star game. It's one game. But just pitching is so far ahead of hitting right now in Major League Baseball. I mean, every guy that takes the mound is either throwing 150 miles an hour or has so much spin rate, the ball's moving so much, it's almost like it's a cartoon. But that's how good pitching is now. Because of, the video analytic information and data, the cameras, the way they're used, the way, you can, these pitching coaches and in these pitching labs just take apart a guy's delivery and put it back together to maximize velocity and they maximize spin on his pitches. Pitching is just so far ahead of hitting. Those poor schlubs had no chance last night. Like Tyler and I were talking about this morning. When you saw that umpire cam and you saw the movement that some of those pitchers had, you're just going, how's anybody hit anything? It's insane. It just is. And, there's people who talk about drastic changes to the game to up the offense. I mean, Major League Baseball tried some tweaks, which, I agreed with banning the extreme shifts because I just think the pitching combined with the extreme shifting, which was just, once again, using analytics to know how to position your defenders, and guys couldn't get a hit. And so stopping the extreme shifting, I thought, helps some because it makes sense. Bigger bags to try to kick the running games in worked for that first year. And now, again, the adjustment to that by teams defensively is have your catcher, when your catcher's throwing down to second base, when there's a dude stealing a bag, you just make your throw instead of at the bag, you make your throw to the front of the bag, to the right of the bag. And that way you're cutting off that advantage the base stealer has. So now base stealing attempts have gone down again. It just, the action on the bases just isn't there. Offensively, the action isn't there. It's just the three outcomes: walk, strikeout, home run, and even home runs are down. There's people saying, move the mound back. It's kind of extreme, but, I'm open to listen to anything these days. What are you going to do? What do you look at pitchers and go, quit being so good? Start throwing underhand. What you're hoping is it's just like a lot of things cyclical, and offensively it can get figured out to where things even up a little bit at least. Or maybe, I don't know, go back to the steroid era. Scored a lot of runs then, man. That was action. People don't like to say this out loud, but take away the fact that, I don't know, you're breaking a bunch of, you're doing something that's illegal, like against the law in our country, taking steroids and PEDs. but man, that was some fun baseball. And now you have the exact opposite. Unless, of course, you love dominant pitching. Look, I just like it being even. Now, I don't like too much of one thing. Like, I don't like every game to be 10-8. I don't like every game to be slow pitch softball. But I don't like every game to be like 3-1 and 2-0 and there's nobody on base and maybe you get an occasional home run. And besides that, people are taking naps. I'm talking about in the ballpark. So last night was not very compelling and exciting. But American League wins like they usually do in the All-Star game. And again, home run derby, more compelling, higher drama, better theater than the All-Star game. I want to take a second as we get ready for a football season. It's coming. And this show, we get out on the road like we do every year and do our Friday tailgate shows. And we're really stoked, really excited. Westco Brew and Bowl is jumping in with us for the Friday tailgate shows. It's in West Columbia, right there before you take that fish hatchery exit. They're on the right-hand side if you're coming from Columbia. Right there where the interstate you can hop on. And I went there yesterday. I've not been there yet. This place is fantastic. I mean, bowling, arcades, outdoors. You can go sit out and have a beverage, eat something, play some games, interactive games, a couple of big bars, and it's a full-service restaurant, a lot of places to sit and hang, and it's phenomenal. It really is. If you get a chance, go check it out. But we will be out there doing our Friday tailgate shows during football season. So we're really stoked, and we want to thank the folks at Westco Brew and Bowl for hopping in with us as we get another football season started here real soon. Of course, SEC Media Days next week, Monday through Thursday. We have and again, we appreciate the folks who have jumped in to sponsor. We'll get more into that next week, starting on Monday. A ton of folks have partnered up with us, and again, we always appreciate you very much for doing that. And we'll be rolling from Tampa, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. here on the game. And Shane and the crew, Tuesday is South Carolina Day. We'll have players. Obviously, Shane will speak to the media. We'll be trying to do our best to grab Shane for a little love for the flagship here. So that's coming up starting on Monday. And that's when talking season really hits hyper gear. So that's coming up as well. I will come back. If you have not heard Paul Mainieri's comments, again, doing a little podcast in Baton Rouge with one of the TV folks. We'll fire you up a couple of cuts so you can hear what the former South Carolina baseball coach said once again about his time here. Yes, he talked again. That's next here on the Postgame Show with Terry Ford. Jay will be with us at 4 here on the Game Network, at the Game TV Radio on YouTube. right, so Paul Mainieri. Yeah, I know. I know. Paul Mainieri again, talking about his time at South Carolina, which is, again, just head scratching. Let it go, man. He was doing a podcast with a member of a TV station in Baton Rouge. And here's Mainieri's comments. First, talking about just kind of recapping his tenure here in Columbia.
I went there and, you inherit a team that's, got some weaknesses, of course. So the first year didn't go so great. And then we started in the second year when we finally could recruit. But what a different world this recruiting is now, with the transfer portal and open transfers and NIL and revenue share and all that stuff. And we got off to a little bit of a slow start. I think we were like 12-11 or something. And, I had a meeting with the athletic director, and we just kind of agreed that it was time for me to head back to Baton Rouge, where I could go home, and maybe they try somebody else, because it was gonna take time there, and I really didn't have the time, at my age, and I always felt the job there was going to be a temporary assignment, but I thought I could put in 2, 3, maybe 4 years and get the program going, but they were a little impatient about it, and I wasn't, really feeling it either. So we made an agreement to head home. But like I told you, I wrote out a lot of lineups in my life. Only 80 of those were at South Carolina. So I hope, it's people's prerogative to judge me however they want to. But, for me, it was just a kind of a short-term thing.
Okay, so the one thing that Mainieri did say there is like, hey, this transfer portal thing and this NIL thing, and it's a whole different world. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, look, my guess is this. I could be wrong. I wasn't invited to the conversation. But I'm guessing when Ray Tanner was having this talk with Paul Mainieri about coming back to be a head coach, my guess is they brought up this whole NIL transfer portal thing. I'm guessing that was part of the back and forth. And I'm sure Mainieri was like, no, don't worry about it, Ray. It might take me a little bit to ramp it up, but I'll hire some guys who have been in it and understand it, and I'll pick it up. Yeah, we'll be good. Don't worry about it. But some things in life, until you actually jump into it, you think you got it until you know you don't got it. And I just think that Paul Mainieri underestimated the way the world had changed. Because now you don't have the juice anymore. Your players do. You just can't, it's not a dictatorship anymore. That's over. And, you have NIL and all these other things that are going on. And sometimes a guy will transfer and it has nothing to do with you. It's just he can go get more bags somewhere else, right? And it just, so that was obviously a thing. And the other part of it, though, that kind of gets me is when you say, there's two things. One, when you say, it would take me 3 or 4 years to get this thing going. No. The thing was just needed to go faster. But it was going. You weren't rebuilding the car. You were just trying to fine-tune it so the car would drive to Omaha again. That's what you were doing, man. You weren't rebuilding anything. Look, Mark Kingston, I feel like there was a ceiling on what Mark Kingston could do at South Carolina. So did you need another coach to get you back to Omaha? Yes, I agree with that. But you were making the postseason. Mark had made the postseason. Matter of fact, you just came off of making the regional. Yeah, you lost some pieces, but wasn't like the cupboard was totally bare. Yeah, and I will agree you did have some weaknesses, but you took a team that had just gone to the NCAA tournament and totally cratered it. And then you doubled down on cratering it the next year. And the idea that 12-11 and being impatient and all that, look, you had an awful first year and you were given even more resources. And the second year started off it looked like it was even worse than your first year. I don't think anybody can objectively say letting you go, Coach Mainieri, was the wrong move last year. And then the final thing is on that cut, and we'll play another cut, is Mainieri saying, yeah, I wasn't into it. What? You what? Well, good. How about we don't pay you? Because we're paying you to be into it. And if you weren't into it, I mean, again, leadership is this. Everybody's a great leader when things are going your way. When you're winning, everybody's a leader. Everybody can joke with everybody. Everything's funny. Everything's great and wonderful. What you need is a baseball coach to lead when things suck. You were 12-11, and Arkansas just handed you your body parts. You're not into it? Kick rocks. See you, man. I mean, you're supposed to be leading. And if you're not into it, how much leading are you doing? And how much are the players feeling your vibe? That last comment's the one that really gets me. I wasn't into it either. Huh? Wow. All right, here's the next cut here from Paul Mainieri, talking about being happy you didn't have to bring a team to Baton Rouge.
I'm extremely glad that I did not have to bring a team to coach here at LSU. I love LSU, and I always will. It's a big part of my life. I went to school here. I met my wife here. I coached the team for 15 years, gave it everything I had. And, last year, my first year at South Carolina, LSU came to play.
That's right.
There, and it was the most awkward feeling that I could even imagine. We won the first game of the series, and it wasn't like special to me to beat LSU or anything like that. I looked across the diamond and I saw guys like Jake Brown and Steve Milam, all these guys that I had recruited to LSU when they were younger. Didn't coach them while they were here, but still had special feelings for them. And I don't know if I'm a softie or what, but I root for LSU, and I always will. But at the same time, I had a job to do. But when I left, before the season was over, when I left South Carolina by mutual agreement, one thing that I looked at the silver lining, I said, well, at least I don't have to take a team to Alec Box Stadium. I didn't want to do that.
That was.
You remember when they beat LSU in that game here in Williams-Brice, Mainieri's first year, and it was a little weird because you're watching the game and, I remember the South Carolina, the players are celebrating, right? And Mainieri's just kind of standing there. He looked awkward, right? And then there was talk about him spending as much time talking to the LSU players as talking to his own. When Paul Mainieri was hired, my thought was this. Well, it was a surprise. It's interesting. But the guy's got a hell of a resume. If nothing else, maybe he can get this, get the program toward the next level, which is getting back to Omaha, because this guy's been to Omaha with two different programs. But you hear about how he does talk about, and again, I understand this, the tough adjustment to the NIL transfer portal world, and then this, and I know he's playing to the fan base in Baton Rouge. I get it. But you took the South Carolina job, and obviously it was just a job. You got no connection, no passion toward it or anything. And I understand it. And maybe, again, Ray Tanner, and I'll say this, and because we weren't privy to the conversation, looking back, how much vetting was done here? Or was Ray just like, hey, you got a heck of a resume. Yeah, I know you want to coach again. We need a coach. My coaching search is kind of going sideways. What do you say you come on back? How much vetting was done by Ray Tanner on this? That's a question. Look, again, Ray, a phenomenal head coach, a Hall of Fame head coach. We're talking about Ray Tanner, the AD right here. How did this process play itself out? Because obviously there were some issues here, even from the get-go with Paul Mainieri. So, all right, the ACC Media Days has kicked, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in Charlotte next here on the postgame show. Terry Ford hanging. Jay will be popping in at 4 as we go till 6 here on the Game Network, at the Game TV Radio on YouTube. Reading reviews. CHW Cabinetry did an outstanding job on our kitchen cabinets. The craftsmanship was excellent, and the team was professional and attentive throughout the entire process. Highly recommend. Frank is awesome to work with. Gave us a custom design for our kitchen remodel the day after we initially met with them. They made all the modifications we requested quickly and perfectly. They came out after the installation, was almost done to take care of any issues. Always returned calls in a timely manner and waited patiently while we got everything we needed to do in order to make the purchase. Highly recommend CHW Cabinetry. That's not me, the schmo of the radio talking. These are the reviews. Call 803-520-6837. Set up a consultation. Tell them what you're looking for, your budget, your goals. Photorealistic renderings make everything transparent. Again, 803-520-6837, CHW Cabinetry. All right, so ACC Media Days popping in Charlotte. And one of the things that has come out of ACC Media Days is something that they needed to do. And that was fix that ridiculous, clunky, absurd tiebreaker that had Duke, despite the fact they were, fifth in the ACC playing for the championship against Virginia, and then Duke won. And it also almost screwed the ACC out of having a team in the college football playoff. Well, it has been fixed, we hope. The number one tiebreaker for the ACC remains head-to-head. The ACC also has stated no team will be overly rewarded or penalized based on the number of conference games it plays. When head-to-head matchups cannot separate tied teams, the ACC will use the team success ranking provided by Sport Source Analytics as a way to reward the team with the strongest body of work. Okay, we'll see how that plays out. Seems smarter than last year's idea. Or, I don't know, you can make it really simple and say whichever team you go head-to-head, right? That's your number one. And if you want to make it really simple, number two is highest-ranked team in the college football playoff rankings. Could do that. Because, again, that's what really matters, right? The college football playoff rankings. Just saying. But maybe this will be fine. But the ACC has fixed their tie-breaking scenario, which they needed to. I only heard one blurb, and we'll get some, maybe dig up some Jim Phillips, the ACC commissioner, when he was doing his opening comments. Maybe try to get something maybe before 6 o'clock today, or definitely get some of it tomorrow. But Phillips was talking about the ACC is going to be a leader in shaping the college football playoff. Excuse me a minute. Oh, man, that's a thigh slapper, Jimmy. Jimbo, Jim Dog, JP. You're not a leader. It should have been this. And the ACC will continue to follow along the lead of the SEC and the Big Ten and hope they take us along for whatever they're going to do. And we'll sit at the kids' table, eating the scraps they leave us. Really what you should have said. And then go with, and we hope that none of our schools leave us to try to go to the ACC or to go to the SEC or the Big Ten. But I get it. You know, if you're Jim Phillips, you got to stand up here and try to puff your chest. And, sing the praises of your conference because they're writing you a big check to be the commissioner. Well, the ACC, though, because you can see, look, we obviously the ACC and the Big 12 out of the Power Four are far and away behind the Big 10 and SEC. I mean, we all know that. The thing with the ACC, because really the Big 12, we had this conversation during Big 12 media days. Big 12 doesn't have big brands. Their biggest brand recognition is BYU because they are a ginormous brand as an entity in the western part of the United States. The other team people know is Texas Tech because people know they tried to play a guy who gambled on his own team as their starting quarterback. Well, that's why you want brand recognition. I don't know. But that's really the two big brands when it comes to college football in the Big 12. And obviously BYU, again, is is different because of who they are, and they have a ton of money, and they are, again, across the West, and they're close to Salt Lake City and things of that nature, which is a big market. But really, that not a lot of big markets. I mean, Texas Tech is in the booming metropolis of Lubbock. ACC, they have some, Miami. You got Florida State. Clemson, obviously, has won national championships and has been the college football playoff in the last 15 years. A bunch. you do have, and Florida State is a name brand who stinks right now. Miami's back right now. They are a name brand from the 90s and early new millennium. Again, Florida State was a name brand during the Bobby Bowden era, and then they won a national championship with Jimbo, and after that it just went, to use an industry term. But the ACC at least has a few skins on the wall that the Big 12 really doesn't, since they lost Oklahoma and Texas. And again, the ACC does have the program the SEC and the Big 10 would love to have if you're going to have another round of expansion. North Carolina is number one. It has nothing to do with their record on the field. Nothing. And we've gone over that in case you missed it. I mean, again, North Carolina, it's the fastest growing state in the country. University of North Carolina, again, is kind of I'm not say sleeping giant, but they are sleeping, and they could be a lot. It could be a lot bigger of a brand than they are, and they're the one to get. If you're the SEC or the Big Ten, then you open up a new restaurant in another state, so to speak. You're getting into Charlotte, the Triangle. I mean, there's a lot of positivity to go to North Carolina. It just is. That is the number one school that both the big dogs would want if they could expand again, or if they'd want to expand again. I have Big Ten doesn't care. They'll expand to 50. They don't care. They really don't. They don't care. So the ACC does have some stuff that the Big 12 doesn't. They just do. I mean, there are other bigger markets. It's like, I mean, the SEC isn't near D.C. I mean, if you get the University of Virginia, now you're crawling toward the DMV. That's there. But the two big, I mean, you have Boston College is in a huge market in Boston, and they don't care. That's a pro town. University of Pittsburgh, again, that's a pro town. So, yeah, you're in these bigger markets, but they're just not into college sports like you see here in the SEC. So the ACC, like we said, they have a few interesting brands that two of them, Florida State isn't what they used to be, obviously. Miami's back. Clemson, we'll see where Clemson's coming in once we get into this year. But at least the ACC has some stuff, and the Big 12 really doesn't. So you might push the ACC a bit ahead of the Big 12. Even though I think the Big 12 Commissioner Yormark, when you're looking at big picture stuff and trying to maximize everything you can for what everyone cares about today, money, it feels like Yormark is a more progressive thinker than Phillips, who's more old school. But the ACC does have more interesting stuff ahead of the Big 12. So ACC Media Day is going on. Like I said, we'll try to maybe grab some sound from Jim Phillips, if not today, tomorrow, about what's going on there. I'm hoping it's as much fun as Big 12 Media Days was. Man, that was a lot more interesting than I thought. But that, of course, a lot of it was, the Texas Tech stuff. We'll crack open the vault, let you know what happened in this day in sports history or any other history. That's next here on the Postgame Show. Terry Ford, thanks for hanging out with us as we go up until 6 here on the game. Before we jump into the vault, today's Wednesday. Then after Wednesday comes Thursday, I think. And after Thursday, I believe, comes Friday. Been one of them weeks, man. I thought today was Thursday for a while. Anyway, Friday on this little radio show, we'll give away $325 as we do the drawing for the Crescent Construction Grand Slam Coaching Hire Contest. Just go to 1075thegame.com. Just hit the Crescent Construction Grand Slam giveaway, just like you would during the Gamecock baseball regular season. Submit your stuff there when you fill it in. On Friday, we'll 5:30. We will do a little drawing. Winner gets $325. So again, that is Friday 5:30. It's from our buds at Crescent Construction and us here on the game. All righty, time to bust the vault open. We always like a little old school. Man, we got a couple old schools. 1912. I believe that's David Ayer's graduating year of high school. Anyway, Jim Thorpe won the decathlon at the Stockholm Olympics. In the closing ceremony, Sweden's King Gustav proclaims Thorpe the world's greatest athlete. And if King Gustav says it, gosh darn it, I'll back it.
You know what Jim Thorpe said to him?
Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Good to see you. What did Jim Thorpe say?
Thanks, King. No, seriously. Like that's what they say. He said, thanks, King.
Thanks, King.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, remember the movie American Beauty?
Yeah.
Who's the king?
Yeah. I don't like that movie.
You know what? I did.
It's good, but it's a hard watch, man.
It's a little...
It's a hard watch.
Disturbing's not the right word.
Part of it is, but it's a hard watch. And now that you know even more things just about Kevin Spacey,
it kind of changes a lot. Yeah, once you know some things about things, I never ran that through my head. But yeah, you are right. It kind of changes some thoughts.
How you doing? It's good to see you. But go ahead, continue. I'm not here yet.
All right, I'll throw you one.
No, I'm not here yet.
I'll give you one trivia question.
I just wanted to say thanks, King.
I'll give you one trivia question.
All right.
This day in 1921, this slugger tied the Major League Baseball career home run record of 138.
Well, it's got to be the Babe.
The career home run record was only 138.
Yeah.
Because remember, small ball, dead ball. The baseballs were terrible, dead ball era.
Yeah.
Stealing bases, Ty Cobb spiking people in the face.
Sure.
I mean, it was a different world before Babe started slugging bombs.
We should go back to that.
No, we shouldn't. Ever. No thanks.
No spiking people in the face?
Well, you know what? Maybe that'll bring. You know what? We have such lack of action in baseball today.
Yeah.
Maybe if we made a full contact baseball and you started spiking each other, hitting each other over the head with
that in the new CBA.
That would be fun. You know what? That's what the owners should do. That exchange for no salary cap, full contact baseball.
That's right.
Make the stadium an octagon.
See how you like. Well,
that could be fun. All right, Dave, we'll get back to you, sir, at top of the hour. Thanks for stopping in. A lot of British Open on this day. I mean, golf in general. Bobby Jones was winning the British Open as an amateur. Byron Nelson, Gene Sarazen, all these great names, iconic names in golf. Arnold Palmer won the British Open on this day, 1961. One of the bizarrest, I guess, winners, Argentina's Robert DiVincenzo in 1967 beat Jack Nicklaus by 2 strokes. Even saying that out loud, you go, that guy, who's he? Some painter? And he beat Jack Nicklaus, yes, Robert DiVincenzo. It's one of the, I guess upset is the right word. One of the greatest upsets in major golf history is Robert DiVincenzo winning the 1967 British Open. But Jack Nicklaus won it in 1978. It's okay on this day. Lennox Lewis on this day in 2000 stopped Francois Botha in the second round to retain his heavyweight championship. He had the WBC and IBF titles at the time. What's an IBF? It sounds like something. It's like something stick in your arm. Hey, give me that IBF, Doc. I'm feeling faint. One of the reasons why I lost my love for boxing was ridiculousness like the International Boxing Federation. What is that? This day in 2007, the Philadelphia Phillies lose their 10,000th game as a franchise. They started off in 1883 as the Philadelphia Quakers. Later, they were called the Blue Jays in the mid-'40s. Interesting. The Phillies at that time, their mark as a franchise, 8,810 wins, 10,000 losses. Some young punk, 21-year-old Rory McIlroy, this day in 2010, ties the major championship record by shooting a 9 under 63 in the opening round of the British Open at the old course in St. Andrews. This day in 2018, Novak Djokovic wins his fourth Wimbledon, 13th major victory. Of course, Djokovic rolled on, and now he is tied for the most major championships, singles championships ever. There you go. Here's your vault, man. Interesting day.
Did Rory win that one?
Yeah.
In 2010?
I believe he did, yes.
Can't remember.
I'll double check it. Oh, one more. This day in 2018, France won their second World Cup. Beat Croatia. According to my history in front of me, it was a dramatic final in Moscow. 4-2.
Yeah, it was a good game. France is not going to win this year.
You don't think? You can go out on a limb?
Yep.
You think not?
I guarantee it.
Neither's the U.S.
Guarantee it. Well, no. we are not going to win it either.
No. 2010, let's get the list of winners in the British Open since I got him in. I'll tell you, I think Rory did win that year, is my guess. Make sure. 2010.
No?
No.
Who was it?
You know who won?
I can't remember. That was a long time ago.
Louis Oosthuizen.
Oosthuizen.
Yeah.
Oosthuizen. Right.
He was 16 under.
There you go, Louis. Well, you know what? In years when the wind's not blowing,
you can tear it up.
Those courses, yeah, they're all reachable.
Louis was 16 under, man. I wonder where Rory ended up. Starting off at a 9 under.
I don't know.
See, get a leaderboard here.
Well, I'm glad I made it, but I may be of very little use to you because the second half of the England-Argentina game is about to kick off. For those who can't see me, I'm in my England jersey.
Yeah, you are. By the way, the runner-up was Lee Westwood.
Okay.
And then Rory, Paul Casey, and Henrik Stenson tied for third.
Oh, nice.
All right, Jay's here. We'll start at the 4 o'clock hour.
You know.
Men's Clinic, 803-875-MENS. You just call Dr. Dan, the staff. You set an appointment. It's a free consultation. And just go in and have a talk. Have a chat. Have a chat. Tell them about what's going on with you. What's not the way it used to be. Why you feeling a certain way you are. You feel off. Maybe you're annoyed, aggravated, scared. Whoever you're going through, just sit down and tell them. They'll do a testosterone test on you and come back with a program and a plan specifically designed for you to help you get back to feeling like you again. Whether it's lack of sleep, lack of vavoom in your life, a lack of strength, lack of recovery, lack of memory, let the folks at the Men's Clinic help you. 803-875-MENS, Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Just make the call, go have a talk. It's free. Let them know what's going on with you. Could change your world. All righty, postgame show. Terry Ford, Jay Phillips back in the building.
What?
Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
Glad
Nice
you could
to be
make
here.
it. Glad you could stop by.
Nice to be here. Well, I was on my way to Atlanta to watch England and Argentina, and I realized that the cheapest ticket in the house was $4,700. And so we got somewhere around that Thompson exit. Turned around and came home. So I'm back.
Came on back.
Came on back. Yeah. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
It's hot outside.
Well, it's July in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, I had an appointment at Duke today, and saw they have they've got most hospitals have these. They have the message board, like what's going on today at the hospital, right, and at the clinic and all that. And on the bottom, like a lot of places, they got the local forecast. Tomorrow, high temperature
in Durham,
NC, 102.
Now that's the temperature. It doesn't feel like
that's the high temperature, 102. So I look at my wife and I'm like, it's going to be 102 here tomorrow. What is it going to be at home? So I pull out the Weather Channel app on my trusty iPhone. 95.
How about that?
I'm like, don't ever tell me again that Columbia's the hottest place in the Carolinas.
There you go.
102 in Durham.
I'm guessing you go to the Weather Channel app. You go to Durham tomorrow. It'll say 102 degrees. Feels like hell.
Stay home.
Yes. Don't leave the house.
137.
Yeah.
So
How about that? 7 degrees cooler here.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. I remember one time, Terry. You won't be surprised to hear this. I just don't revert this far back in my life too often. But when I was a young tyke, I went to summer camp up in Black Mountain, North Carolina, and as one thing led to another, I became sort of the de facto news sports guy, like at the end of breakfast.
How old were you at the time?
12, 11.
Look at you already.
I kind of knew I was going to do this. Right? Anyway, one day, and I used to get up there and read the baseball scores and a couple. There's nothing heavy, I assure you. But one day I remember reading the weather, and the hottest place in the country on this given day was Bullhead City, Arizona.
Bullhead City, Arizona.
Well, guess who tied with it that very same day? And I'll never forget this as long as I live.
Columbia, South
Carolina. When I was at camp, I was like, wait, what? And I was, I'm in Black Mountain. That's about 20 miles east of Asheville. And I'll never forget that, man. So, yeah, it's like summer of 82-ish. I don't know, and I'm like, Bullhead City, Arizona just sounds like someplace for the setting of a Western.
Yes.
And sounds hot.
I'm picturing Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Lee Marvin.
Right.
All those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tied with Columbia, South Carolina. So
remember that was a big thing back when we were growing up. The news always had it in the hottest place in America today is.
Yeah. It was one of those things. So anyway, no score, England, Argentina. Again, for those watching on YouTube, you can see me. I'm as Englanded up as I can be today, pretty much. I've got my Michael Owen jersey on. I have my Arsenal cap on. And I am pulling for England. One of my girls is pulling for England. Actually, I think two of them are. One is most definitely pulling for Messi in Argentina.
Just because of Messi.
Just because of Messi. Yeah. Well, and he's awesome.
He's Messi.
He's awesome. And he's such a nice guy, and he loves the kids, and he loves his family. He shops at Lowe's.
Well, there you go. I mean, who can't love a dude who's shopping at Lowe's?
You move to America,
man?
You start shopping at Lowe's. I mean, you're doing it right.
It changes up. Could you see, you're walking through Lowe's, there's Messi in his Argentina gear carrying out some lumber?
Yeah.
Maybe some, wood caulking glue or something or whatever.
He's got to fix the back deck, man.
It's got to get stuff done.
Yeah, he's got Saturday off.
Garbage can.
Inter Miami played on a Friday night. Saturday morning, you get to work.
Got to get to work, man.
Yeah, you got stuff to do.
Some nails.
Mrs. Messi is like, come on, Leo, chop, chop.
Let's go.
I don't have.
We got work to do here.
Just because you can pay, a whole army of people to fix our house. No,
you don't want to do that. That's easy. Do it yourself, man. DIY that there, Lionel.
So, and I'd rather shop, even though I'm an England fan, David Beckham's doing commercials for Home Depot, but I'd rather be like Messi and shop at Lowe's. Just follow Messi. They're both fine stores.
Yes.
They're both fine stores.
The David Beckham, Matt Damon commercials are interesting.
They are, yeah, with the Suns.
Yeah, they're interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Damon does most of the talking, and then at some point they go, "Okay, David, we gave you 3 words. Just say yes."
And he got paid.
And he got paid just as much.
Yeah, he got paid more.
Anyway.
Yeah, so it's good stuff.
Oh man.
I don't know if you talked about it in the first hour because I honestly didn't get a chance to hear you. But other than the vault, which you didn't mention it, but I told you the American League was going to win last night.
Yeah, and it was boring, and it was a snoozer.
It wasn't a fun game.
And the worst MVP in the history of my lifetime of watching it. And look, it's nothing against Cody Bellinger. I said this in the opening riff of the show. Even Cody Bellinger was almost embarrassed to take the MVP award.
Right.
It's like, dude, I had a single up the middle and knocked in 2 runs, and I'm getting the award. I said this. They should have gave the award to the entire pitching staff of the American League.
I don't disagree.
I mean, and I guess the thing, too, Jay, look, it's one game. You don't take a snapshot of the entire world of Major League Baseball over one game. But pitching is just so far ahead of hitting now. I mean, these guys, Tyler and I were talking about it. Forget the velocity, which the average fastball velocity now is 172 miles an hour. But when you saw that umpire cam last night, and you see the spin rate and movement of pitches, how in God's name does anybody hit the baseball?
Well,
it's just insane how far pitching is
I don't
ahead of
disagree,
hitting.
and I wonder. Look, and I'm not suggesting this should happen, but especially in a summer where negotiations for the next CBA are going to play out quite publicly, and at times they're going to be ugly and things like that. Does the commissioner, because the players aren't going to care, but does the commissioner look at his owners and say, we had a 4-0 snooze fest with 15 strikeouts for the losers.
One extra base hit.
I'm not. So I don't know how you fix. You don't fix it. You can't say, hey, listen.
Quit throwing so hard.
Yeah, no. If you throw over 100, you're ejected.
Right. You got to start throwing underhand.
I mean, so I don't know what you do about it. And look, I'm not saying that the NL guys weren't attempting to play well. Don't get me wrong here, because I was pulling for the NL last night. But I don't think they're up there really like they're like, man, I'm not getting up there and swinging at these, or I'm not getting. They're like, it just was an uninspiring game.
Think about it. The home run derby had more juice than the All-Star game.
It just I was in and out a little bit.
Same here.
Again, I just like I've always been, even though I'm now in my mid-50s, I still. I kind of primarily tune in anymore to see my team's players.
I think we all do, and that's another thing. If your team doesn't have more than one player, it's not the same vibes. If your team, like the Braves, had multiple players.
Had, what, 6?
Yeah. So, my team had a dude, okay. But it's just like, I just know you're always more engaged when your team has more players in the Midsummer Classic.
So I wanted it to be a little better. Like, Raisel Iglesias came in and had a decent inning.
Yeah, I mean, it just, it was one of the game was just flat.
Yeah.
It just was. And again, the bigger picture is, how are you going to get action in the game of baseball? What are you going to do about, or you just sit back and go, look, this stuff's cyclical. Hitting will catch back up again, and blah, blah, blah. And is it as simple as that? A lot of times, yeah. But right now, as we speak, when you're trying to pull casuals in, and casuals like what, Jay? Offense.
Yeah, they want home runs.
In every sport. I mean, we could maybe throw in the idea of go back to the steroid era. There was a lot of runs scored there. Yeah. Hey, fellas, here's some cream and clear. Go get them. Yeah. Have us some intro. But it's a thing for, I mean, if you're Major League Baseball, you are sitting around going, God, we have like the 3 outcomes. We have walks, strikeouts, and home runs. Yeah. We don't have a lot of guys running the bases, not a lot of action. We've tried to tweak things by banning the extreme shifts and making the bags bigger. And, I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, I've heard this, and again, this extreme, move the mound back. I've heard that.
No,
and I just don't think that's the way to go.
Yeah, people talk about lowering the mound.
Well, they did that in the late 60s. They did it in the late 60s. They lowered the mound because pitching was. Bob Gibson 1 year at a 1.12 ERA.
Right.
And the powers that be.
And what did Koufax have, like right just above that?
And they said we got to lower the mound because pitching is just taking over offense. Yeah. I mean, I think you should just sit in a room and throw stuff against a wall and see if you come up with anything that makes sense. But it's a massive thing for Major League Baseball.
It is.
It really is, because these pitchers are so far ahead of these hitters. I mean, dude, you're parading in just the All-Star game, Jay. Every inning, a guy's out there either throwing a hundy or throwing pitches that are just dipping and darting everywhere.
Right.
And you see hitters just looking foolish. And like you said, maybe you're up there as a hitter going, look, man, I can't hit this stuff. It's the All-Star game.
Yeah, and I'm just not going to sweat it. I mean, if it's my team, I'm trying to work the count, and I'm trying to get that slider that you're talking about. All right, throw it to me when it's 2-0, and let's see what happens, bud. But when it doesn't matter, you're not working the count.
Hitters are helpless, and in a regular season game, these guys a lot of times are helpless. Now, I mean, offense is in the rate of the levels of the 60s. Again, the mid to late 60s. It's a thing. It really is. What was it? Was it Carl Yastrzemski won the batting title hitting .297 in the late 60s?
Well, right, I mean, he didn't have a great average the year he won the Triple Crown.
I think 301 when he won the Triple Crown. I think his batting average was 301. I mean, it's crazy. Right now, you've got I think 8 or 9 guys.
And averages
hitting
came back. I mean, guys like Boggs and Gwynn and Carew.
And they lowered the mound in the late 60s, and offense started to come back, and then offense started to explode more with guys like Bonds, but
Bonds could hit.
Boggs, Gwynn, Ken Griffey Jr. Then the steroid era came in, and George Brett was a phenomenal hitter.
Pete Rose had a good average.
Yeah, Rose set records, and again, back then, contact was a much bigger deal than it is today, and it just
get on base, steal a bag, or get bunted over, and play station to station ball.
Again, I just sit back and go, yes, right now can be a snoozer, but typically things are cyclical, and offense in some way, shape, or form will find its footing. We hope
it will.
Things will start to even up.
It's not. You're right. It's not linear. But I'm not. I mean, look. Whether it was 4-0, whether it was 11 to 10. I knew the American League was going to win, because the American League just in the last 30 years, the American League just wins this game.
Isn't it weird when you and I were growing up, the National League dominated?
Yeah.
And then since what was it? Since the American League finally won a game or two after the National League domination has totally flipped in the American League, like you said, over the last, 25, 30 years, their one-loss record in the All-Star game is sick.
I mean, I'm not even sure in the last – I'll look it up real quick, and maybe during the break here, but I think during the last 30 years, I'd be surprised if the American League – if the National League has won 10.
I was going to say they've won maybe 5 to 7.
Yeah, that's kind of where my head is. I'll look it up to make sure. I mean, because it just sometimes things feel that way, and it actually reality may be a little different.
Right.
But I bet it's not vastly different. But and baseball, let's face it, 2 out of 3 is dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, over the course of
you're pulling 667 winning percentage.
Yeah, over a length of time. I mean, in any given weekend, not dominant necessarily, but over a measured amount of space, it's pretty good. So anyway, but. Hey, next year the National League will
go get him, babe.
Go get him, NL.
By the way, I will leave you. I will leave you with this. But up next, and you weren't listening, but you were out coming back. Well, Paul Mainieri talked again.
Oh, did he?
And I'll play you the cuts. Talked to doing a podcast in Baton Rouge, just kind of doubling down. I'll play it for you because you haven't heard it yet.
I haven't heard it.
And I'll let you. I have my reaction in the 3:15 segment. I'll let you have yours. We'll get to it next.
Okay.
And by the way, I'll leave you with this.
Okay.
In honor of our youth, the hottest city in the U.S. today is Palm Springs, California, at 112 degrees. They were one of them all the time back in the day, too. Palm Springs.
In the desert, man.
In the desert. 112.
But I'm just saying, anybody that lives in the Triangle or in Charlotte or whatever, don't tell me Columbia's the hottest place in the Carolinas.
Not now. Not today.
Yeah, if you're going to beat me by 7 degrees, that's
something, man. Yeah, all right. If you haven't heard it and Jay hasn't heard, we'll re-rack the Paul Mainieri comments from the podcast in Baton Rouge.
I'm kind of nervous about this.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
But just be ready.
Okay. I'm ready.
Post-game show. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford here on The Game.
All right, 19 minutes after 4 o'clock on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Good news if you're like me and pulling for England. 1-0. Anthony Gordon scores off of a beautiful cross from Morgan Rogers. And then Jed Spence made a nice defensive stop. Terry was even in here going, oh, look, he got the ball.
I thought he got all ball, man.
Nice tackle in the
all
box.
All ball, because Argentina, they were on a rush.
Yeah, Simeone was coming down to get at least get a shot. Not saying he was going to score, but yeah, he was going to get a shot.
Some serious speed, man. On back end of that.
1-0 England, and we are currently in the 59th. So we shall see. We shall see. All right. You set us up.
Yeah, buddy. You ready?
I don't. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm ready to listen. I don't know what I'm going to hear. That's the thing.
That's the fun part. All right. Here's Paul Mainieri again doing a podcast. Baton Rouge TV station. One of their folks has a podcast. Mainieri was on it, and here's Paul Mainieri on WABF, their podcast, recapping his tenure at South Carolina.
I went there, and you inherit a team that's got some weaknesses, of course. So the first year didn't go so great, and then we started in the second year when we finally could recruit. But what a different world this recruiting is now, with the transfer portal and open transfers and NIL and revenue share and all that stuff. And we got off to a little bit of a slow start. I think we were like 12-11 or something, and I had a meeting with the athletic director, and we just kind of agreed that it was time for me to head back to Baton Rouge, where I would go home, and maybe they try somebody else because it was gonna take time there, and I really didn't have the time, at my age, and I always felt the job there was going to be a temporary assignment, but I thought it could put in 2, 3, maybe 4 years and get the program going, but. They were a little impatient about it, and I wasn't, really feeling it either. So we made an agreement to head home. But like I told you, I wrote out a lot of lineups in my life. Only 80 of those were at South Carolina. So I hope, it's people's prerogative to judge me however they want to. But, for me, it was just a kind of a short-term thing.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
First off, he makes it sound like South Carolina had never really been good at baseball, and it was going to take longer. It was going to take a while there, relative to.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the first things I heard. It's like, no, dude,
where?
You were handed a team that made the tournament.
Yeah, again, the teams. I know I've banged on this drum till it's almost broken, but and again, before I even say what I'm going to say, let me reiterate this too. It was time for a change. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
It
Mark had taken it as far as he could take it.
Yeah, but Mark's last 2 teams were a 1-seed host that made a super regional and a 2-seed.
How'd Paul's first team do in the tournament?
They didn't make the tournament, Terry.
How about his second team?
They were even worse.
And that took that with what he said, it's going to take 3. No, when your presser, by the way,
and,
Coach.
I mean,
what did he say in the presser? We're here to win now.
Yeah, and again, impatient. No, but I don't believe that. Now he may, and that can be a subjective way to look at things, but I hate to repeat it, y'all. 1 seed and 2 seed.
And remember,
you didn't take over the dumpster fire that was the worst record in the history of the program, sir.
No, you made it that way.
Yeah. Then I would have told you. Like right now, Kevin Schnall, bro,
rebuild.
You might need some time.
Yes.
I don't know. And you've recruited your butt off so far.
Still.
So, again, have you even raised your own expectations or at least raised fan expectations to a little bit of a higher level in the coming season? And as I've always said, you don't want to let go of too many expectations on an annual basis for Carolina baseball. But to say South Carolina baseball fans were impatient or to say it was going to take some time there, again, relative to where?
And remember, he said this in his presser. This is not a rebuild. We're here to win now. He said that. I didn't. You didn't. He said that.
And look, NIL recruiting space and portal.
Well, he obviously.
Here's the thing. He and Terry. I remember. Listen, man. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I remember interviewing him.
You were there when they did the presser. Yep.
Terry Rooney and I know what we're doing. Was a quote he gave to Elijah and me. Terry Rooney and I know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Now, what if I went on a podcast in Baton Rouge and said, here's the quote. Show me that you did.
Yeah.
Look, he is a Hall of Fame coach, and he did a fine job in Baton Rouge and at South Bend and at Air Force. But don't take a dump on this program and this fan base as if somehow, some way, what you took over had never before been good at the sport, had never known success at the highest level. If I may, Coach Mainieri, Ray Tanner won more titles than you.
Absolutely.
So now Skip Bertman, that's a whole other story.
It's a whole different ball game, right?
So I'm not trying to compare the programs. There's nobody's going to question LSU's place. Look, now that Texas is in the SEC, it makes things a little different. But prior to Texas, nobody's questioning LSU's role as the flagship program of Southeastern Conference baseball.
Right.
But that irks me, and I try not to get too, I don't know what the word is, Terry, not protective. Ray Tanner's program and now Kevin Schnall's program, Mark Kingston's, Chad Holbrook's, June Raines, they don't need Jay Phillips to give them a hug. But I don't need to hear somebody come in and say it was going to take time there. Again, relative to what? Relative to where? Relative to whom?
Right.
And they were impatient. No, not impatient. This is a program that's played for 6 national championships. This is a program you took over that was a 2 seed, and the year before was in the Super Regional.
Look what you did to it.
You didn't take over a dumpster fire.
You made it.
You created a dumpster.
Yes,
you put
did.
the gasoline on it.
You walked over to the dumpster, and with the gasoline and matches, hey Terry, pour.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you did. And the other
We need more matches, Coach.
The other comment. Can you bring a match truck? Here, the other comment was when he's talking to when he sat down with Jeremiah Donati, he was saying, "No, I wasn't into it either." What?
Yeah.
What?
At 1.3 million, you weren't into it?
I was going to say, good. Then you know what we'll do? We'll just not pay. We paid you to be into it, so we're just not going to pay you.
We paid you to leave.
Yeah. Think about that for a minute. We signed you. We scratched you a check to go back to your beloved Baton Rouge. Look, I know he's pandering and he's trying to, soften what he thinks is this awful stain on his legacy and all this stuff, whatever. But you created the stain, sir. You created a stain where there was no stain.
Yeah. Yeah. You spilled the wine.
I got a great idea. Why don't you just bleep and own it and let's move on? Right?
Yeah, instead of the whole whatever. Yeah, how about now I am being a smartass. If you're gonna look at me, and I'm pointing to myself, Jay Phillips, and say, Terry Rooney and I know what we're doing. Reverse that. Go, Terry and I once knew what we were doing.
Right.
But we got back into it and realized,
right,
we're completely in over our heads. We're fighting a hurricane with an umbrella.
Right. Exactly.
Just tell me that, But don't blame this fan base. Don't blame a program that has a top 10 budget. Don't blame a program with 11 trips to Omaha. Don't hand me that. Because I got it again. What's the old and tell me it's raining.
My leg and tell me it's raining.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm not like that. That ain't gonna fly, man.
No. I got one more cut for you in the next segment.
Well, can I handle it?
Yeah.
I've been having a good day, and England is winning. Why you want my blood pressure to get up, man?
We'll play you another one.
All right.
Post-game
Somebody
show.
bring me a shot of something.
One other cut. I got some stuff in my office. One more cut of Paul Mainieri next, coming up on the post-game show here on The Game.
That sound you heard about 10 or 12 minutes ago wasn't the wind, wasn't an ambulance going by. That was a bunch of England fans at the British Bulldog Pub cheering Anthony Gordon's goal as they went up 1-0 on Argentina, and that place is probably still rocking as the Three Lions attempt to get it done. And it's a good game right now. It'll be a big one this weekend. Spain versus one of these two in the big final. Get out to the British Bulldog, whether it's for this tournament or whether it's for your any other fan. Listen, I mean, you got the Open going on all weekend from across the pond. That'll be fun soon enough. They got every football game on. They got TVs everywhere. Terry, you've been in there. They got TVs all over the place. Amazing food, fantastic beer selection, so many beers on tap, in the can, imports from all over the world, especially from across the pond. And again, the food there is absolutely fantastic. I love going to the British Bulldog Pub, Bower Parkway in Harbison. Check them out. Tell them we sent you to the Bulldog.
Our first check on the traffic this afternoon. We got some accidents. Two Notch at North Grampian Hills Road, Percival Road at, I'll make sure I got that right, Antler Way. Leesburg Road at Fairmont Drive, I-26 westbound between exits 108A and 106. We have, obviously, slow traffic like always. I-20 westbound at Two Notch, we have an accident. Also I-20 westbound at the I-77 exit. UG at Blossom in downtown Columbia, Fairfield at Prescott.
All right, welcome back in. Terry's got me all fired up. Well, it's not Terry's fault. Well, it is Terry's fault because he's the one controlling the audio today.
So if I wouldn't have brought that up and played the cut, you'd still be in a really good mood.
What's my? You see what my blood pressure is? Beats per minute on my Apple Watch. How accurate are these things, Terry? For you ever looked?
Well, it depends. What's your beats per minute? I'll tell you. 103.
No, it's only 79. That's not.
It's only 70.
79.
Yeah,
it's a little up.
Yeah. Probably came in here at 69.
Yeah, something, I don't know. Real quick, before we get back into Terry raising my blood pressure further with comments from Paul Mainieri that I really didn't think I was going to be quite as agitated by. We were mentioning the All-Star game at the top of the hour, a National League losing again, as predicted. I said I'd go back and look. So I went back and looked at the last 40 All-Star games. The last 40, 4-0 All-Star games. Do you want to hazard a guess before I give you the official tally of the last 40?
I'm going to say the American League's won 33.
Okay, not quite. It's 30 wins for the American League, 9 for the National League.
And that goofy tie.
They have the tie. 39 and 1 for the American League.
That's crazy.
In 40 years. That's brutal, man.
That is brutal.
This game,
brutal.
It should be a split.
At least somewhere near a split.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. Well,
right.
it should be a split. And historically, by the way, American League now 49 to 45. So there's that. And there've been, I didn't realize this. There've been 2 ties. There was a tie in 1961. So I don't think I ever have. Maybe I knew that from when they had the first, or maybe I just completely tuned out. Like, my God,
well,
a tie.
you know,
in
you and I really weren't watching baseball in 1961.
I was trying. That was back when they played 2 games.
Yeah, they played 2 a year. Yep.
Yeah, the National League won the first game at Candlestick, and then they had a tie, a 1-1 tie at Fenway. A couple weeks later.
Yeah, it was weird they played 2 a year. It was that was an interesting time when they were doing that. But
I'm sure it wasn't about the money.
No, they back in the old days, nobody cared about money.
It was the love of the game.
Everybody just loved playing
Tickets were
ball.
free.
That's right. Don't
just
pay
come
me.
on into the ball yard, kids.
Come on in.
Here's a hot dog and a soda.
Players just played for love. Fans were just there for nothing. That was when the world was simpler. My dad would do that all the time. Yeah. My dad would do this one. God love Dean Ford. He gets so mad at me. When the steroid era was going, and he's all mad about the steroid era, he looked at me and go, yeah, I'll tell you what. Brooks Robinson, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, they didn't do no steroids. So you know why, Dad? Why? They didn't have steroids in the 60s.
They were on Reds. That's
right. I was like, hey, Dad, you ever read the book Ball 4? They had 2 aquariums. One was the regular stuff, one was the high test. Yeah. Oh, he gets so mad when I'd say that to him. They didn't have steroids, Dad. He just looked at me with a cigarette in his mouth, get all mad at me.
Yeah, sure.
And I didn't get the lawn ornaments.
I remember people would say things like, back in the old days, they didn't have advertisements everywhere. And I'm like, have you watched that show on HBO? Or have you watched the Ken Burns thing? What do you think all those signs on the outfield were?
Yeah.
It's called advertising. I assure you, they did.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing has changed.
What changed then was that the players didn't have a union, and they got screwed over all the time.
Yeah, it had no free agency.
One of the greatest. I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna paraphrase it. I can't remember it word for word anymore. There's a great story. Frank Robinson was the 1966 MVP in the American League, won the Triple Crown. Orioles won the World Series. So Frank goes in to talk about his new contract. I think Frank Cashin was the GM in 1966. Could have been Harry Dalton or Frank Cashin. So Frank goes in to sit down. I'm just making up a number. And he's making like 20,000 or something.
Sure.
So Frank goes, he sits down, I want to, I'd like to make 30. I'll give you 22. Thanks for coming in, though, Frank. It's like that's what it was like then, because you couldn't negotiate. You had no union. You had no free agency. They just give you they gave you a raise.
Yeah.
Go be a good player and just go out there and go practice.
We're doing you a favor.
And we're giving you more money than last year.
We're doing you a favor.
Look at how much we love you. You got $20,000. We're going to give you 20,001.
Right.
You're welcome.
Well, Dan Patrick was talking about that same scenario, but different. But the slam dunk contest, apparently apparently it was $100,000 to the winner, and nobody was doing it anymore.
Right.
And so the NBA took it to $105,000.
It's like Dr. Evil, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, no, y'all don't get it, do you? I mean, seriously? Well, it's more. Okay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I always think I talked to $1 million. Hey, dude.
That's really not a lot of money. Really?
Or we all had that relative, that uncle, who would walk when you were a kid. And when you were little, it was one thing, but you were like 12, 13, 14. Hey, do me a favor, go in the refrigerator and grab me a soda. You come back, he goes, here's a quarter, thanks. It's like,
here's
dude,
a nickel.
Yeah, dude, that's nothing.
What's the thing? Okay, now I'm going, before we, so this is the last thing we'll do, since it's pop culture time, then we'll go to Paul Mainieri again and get my blood pressure up. But there's the scene when the grandparents arrive at the Griswold's house, and Clark's mom is like, she wants her feet rubbed, and she's like, if you rub my feet, I'll give you a quarter, Rusty, and I'll give Audrey a quarter too, Audrey. And he's like, a whole quarter. But, it's a grandma.
It's grandma.
And that movie's made in the late 80s, so if you do the math going backwards to when she was a kid, like a quarter actually got you something. But yeah, I get, and I'll give Audrey a quarter too, Audrey.
I'm spending 50 cents to get my feet rubbed.
All right.
Here we go. Paul Mainieri, this is the second
Not getting his feet rubbed while he was talking, apparently.
Well, I don't know. Allegedly. Maybe. Paul Mainieri here, this cut is talking about how happy he was that he didn't have to take the Gamecocks to Baton Rouge.
I'm extremely glad that I did not have to bring a team to coach here at LSU. I love LSU, and I always will. It's a big part of my life. I went to school here. I met my wife here. I coached the team for 15 years, gave it everything I had. And, last year, my first year at South Carolina, LSU came to play.
That's right.
There, and it was the most awkward feeling that I could even imagine. We won the first game of the series, and it wasn't like special to me to beat LSU or anything like that. I looked across the diamond and I saw guys like Jake Brown and Steve Milam, all these guys that I had recruited to LSU when they were younger. Didn't coach them while they were here, but still had special feelings for them. And I don't know if I'm a softie or what, but I root for LSU, and I always will. But at the same time, I had a job to do. But when I left, before the season was over, when I left South Carolina by mutual agreement, one thing that I looked at the silver lining, I said, well, at least I don't have to take a team to Alec Box Stadium. I didn't want to do that.
That was.
Yeah. I mean, he nailed it, and then you took the job.
Mm-hmm.
The job is the job.
Right.
It's cool to, but really? Are you? What if you had been number 3 in the country?
Mm-hmm.
Would you have felt the same way? Like, I mean, what are we?
Here's my question: Was he sitting in the dugout coaching South Carolina, rooting for LSU? Because he always did.
I mean, we know he wasn't, and he's like you said, yeah.
Obviously, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
but my point is this. I mean, remember, and I go back to, I thought about this when I heard this quote. Do you remember when they did win that game? And remember, the South Carolina players were celebrating at home plate because they were scuffling. That was a really big win at the time, right? Just to get a W like that against an LSU. Remember, they went on and won the national title.
Yeah.
And I remember Mainieri was just sitting there, like in the dugout, just kind of standing there. Everybody's excited, and he was just kind of like standing there. And it was like awkward to watch.
I mean, look, I don't need him, acting the fool, right?
But it was such a weird. I just remember watching it, going, it's kind of a weird response to. I mean, you're not even like smiling and happy for your own players. It was just like he's like standing there.
Yeah.
Not to say he was bummed that he won, but just to that whole thing of being torn to that extent.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you took a job.
Yeah, you took a job, and the schedule's out.
You're wearing a Gamecock uniform.
Yeah.
You should be happy you won that game.
Yeah.
You should be happy you beat a ranked team. You should be happy for your players and happy for your team and happy for your program.
Shane Beamer beat Virginia Tech last year, and he was pretty excited.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, you can beat. Now I know Shane never coached Virginia Tech, but he played there.
Yeah,
he went to school there. Grew up there.
I just think again,
and he loves the place. Yeah. But you know what? You got a job to do.
Right, and that's my point. The point should have been saying, "Hey, look, Look, I love LSU, but that day, they were the enemy, and I wanted to beat them.
Amen.
And that's what you say.
Amen.
Not this stuff.
No,
This
is why, Terry, again, now you know I'm kidding, but this is why I say this is the Bobby Ewing dream season of Dallas.
Right.
This didn't happen. I just think thousands and thousands of South Carolina baseball fans are going to view it. Even and for those who know what I'm talking about, you get it. And if you don't, and you want to go look it up so you can understand my pop culture reference. But it was a bad dream.
You're welcome. You were in a good mood when you got here. You gonna thank me now?
I'm leaving. I'm going to go celebrate, hopefully, England winning here in about 10 minutes. I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back.
All right, World Cup update. You ready? Get yourself together.
I might just. Can we turn? Do we have the ability to turn the volume up?
Sure.
No, all right. Yes,
That's
World
next.
Cup update next.
You're on the postgame show.
And boy, do we have an update for you. While we were in the break, Argentina's Enzo Fernandez, who was a star for Chelsea in the Premier League, with an absolute screamer into the upper left. 1-1 as we hit the 89th minute. Don't know how much stoppage time, but we're probably headed to 30 minutes of extra time. England kind of settling into a defensive structure, which, down in Mexico City a couple weeks ago was the right idea, because while the Mexican team is strong, especially at home, England could kind of sweat that one out for 20 minutes or so, because the Mexican offensive attack is just not that lethal. Argentina, on the other hand, you got the start. You got Messi. You got Fernandez. You got Lautaro Martinez. You got Julian Alvarez. You got dudes, just dudes, and they have made England pay. So 1-1 as we head into the last minute of regulation. And I say we could be headed to extra time, but Argentina has been fantastic in this tournament late in games, including a couple of extra time games. But after the 80th minute, they seem to just turn it on. And Terry, I was just telling you, Terry, if I'm England, Argentina is not a great defensive team. They're good, but they're not great. And England has attack. If I'm England, I'm trying to possess the ball. And by the way, 9 minutes. 9 minutes.
Stoppage time?
Of stoppage time, because there was an injury. You got the hydration break. You had a lot of subs in this half, and you've had both goals. So you've got that much time added on.
Hey, with that shot from Martinez was phenomenal.
I'd favor Argentina now with the way this is going. England needs to get on the front foot, and I think they've kind of given that back to Argentina. So
and watching that again, I'm not a soccer guy. Obviously, you are, but I'm watching this thing. And of course, in soccer, they call it a set piece. But you got this corner kick. Messi corner kicks it in. They kind of give it back to Messi. And this just shows you why. And again, I know very little about the game. But again, watching from a basketball perspective, for an example, Messi got the ball like a good point guard. He attacked the lane like a good point guard. The minute the defense went toward him, what did he do, Jay?
Yeah, he passed.
He dished it to a wide open shooter.
Yeah, you find the open man who took the big, and that was like hitting the big 3-point shot late in the game.
Yeah, and it was a hell of a shot.
Because it was from distance.
Yeah, and
it was just outside the 18.
Victor Wembanyama could have been in goal and probably didn't get a hand on that thing.
Oh, and Argentina just hit the post.
Ugh.
Oh, my goodness.
So, that shot was phenomenal from distance and just would. So they almost won. No, it didn't win, but they took the lead.
And they took the lead.
They scored?
They just did.
Wow.
And there's Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan. Again, they got dudes, man. These guys score goals for this. They got so many goal scorers. This is what they do. They score goals, man. They just this is what they do.
Now I'll ask you, and you said about this, is now that if Argentina holds this lead and they win, are we going to hear about England should not have taken their foot off the gas and went to a defensive shell?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did they totally park the bus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they went to 5 at the back. Yeah, you did, and you gave Argentina life, and I don't know that England can retake that life here in 7 minutes. That's not really what England does. England is, England plays the long game. England, it's more of a marathon for how England wants to play, and they were running the marathon, man. And then they decided to play defense just a little too much. Argentina not great defensively. Now England has a chance right here. You gotta go full bore, and not leave yourself open to something at the back. But Argentina has just taken a 2-1 lead. Yes, we will hear that. We will hear that the tactical change was a mistake, Terry. Yes.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
Just saying. Feels like it.
Now, that being said, you know what's coming. And on a couple of these shots, could you have been better positioned defensively, even if you want to play defense, perhaps? Spain is already into the final. Argentina versus Spain, perhaps. Argentina scores goals. Spain has given up 1 goal
I was going to say.
in this tournament.
And they suffocated France.
Yeah. They made a potent France offense look bad yesterday.
Mbappe had as many shots as you and me.
Yeah, it's not good. So we'll see. A few minutes left. We'll update you during the headlines coming up. And got an interesting note from ACC kickoff. Keep it here.
Five o'clock check on traffic. Man, we got some accidents. Here we go. Ermine Road near Old Barnwell Road, Fairfield Road at Prescott Road, UG at Blossom in downtown Columbia, I-20 westbound at the I-77 exit, that's 76A, I-20 westbound at the Two Notch Road exit, that's exit 74, Leesburg Road at Fairmount Drive, Oak Drive between Augusta Road and Mineral Springs Road, Percival Road at Antler Way, Two Notch Road at Grampian Hills Road. Jump back in. 5 o'clock news sponsored by Integrated Media. Next here on the post-game show as we kick off the 5 o'clock hour on the game.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Wednesday. It's also the final hour of the post-game show. Alongside Terry Ford, I'm Jay Phillips. Thank you so much for being with us. Lots to get to in these headlines, and we will keep you updated here as there are literally just seconds left in this second semifinal at the World Cup. England and Argentina. England had a 1-0 lead late. Argentina has scored twice in the last 10 to 12 minutes. And they have a 2-1 lead with the ball. A little bit of a stoppage for a quick foul on Lionel Messi. But it's Argentina's ball, and I got a hunch that as their keeper, Emi Martinez, kicks this one away, the whistle will blow, and Argentina is going to go face Spain for a world championship. So, tough one for England. Tough one. They had a lead, and then decided to play defense a little too long, and let the dudes that Argentina has score goals.
Think about it, man. Argentina's a win away from doing something that hasn't been done in 70 years.
Nearly 70 years.
Saying.
Yeah. The last back-to-back winners of the World Cup were Brazil, 58-62. Pele. So tough for England, man. Tough for England. Just couldn't get another one in. And again, yes. But you asked me a question earlier. Will there be questions about the tactical change late in the game? And the answer is most assuredly yes.
Yep.
You didn't need to go into a defensive posture quite so.
I was going to say that was early, wasn't it?
So, I mean, it was in the 70s, but it just not quite that soon. They are still playing. There was a longer stoppage for an injury.
Oh, here we go.
England is going to look like maybe get one more chance at this, but that's probably going to be about it. We'll keep you updated. The ACC's media days, they call it ACC Kickoff, going on this week up in Charlotte. And last year, of course, there was a 5-way tie for second place, and that allowed Duke to get into the ACC title game. They won it, so good for them. This year, a new tiebreaker policy has been announced that the conference hopes will let better teams in. It says make sure they get to the right place. That was Jim Phillips' word, no relation, to feature the two best teams in the conference. The number one tiebreaker remains head-to-head. I'm reading here from Andrea Adelson's piece at ESPN.com. The ACC said no team will be overly rewarded or penalized based on the number of conference games it plays. But the change, they say, was needed to make sure that, again, you don't have the problems of last year. So, again, the number of conference games, head-to-head matchups, can't separate tied teams. Then ACC will use the team success ranking by a group called Sports Source Analytics as a way to reward the team with the strongest body of work. Last year, they had to go down to the fifth tiebreaker, which was conference opponent winning percentage. And on that one, Duke had a better number than Miami. The CFP, of course, is going to give automatic spots to 4 champions. Jim Phillips says it's important to be sure the top 2 teams will play in the ACC championship game in Charlotte. Quote, you have to do everything you can to position your championship game with those 2 best teams. Head-to-head matters. That's always most important. Then we'll look at grouping and how teams fared. It will come down to body of work, and I'm looking forward to that, end quote. I don't have too much of a problem with this, if only, Terry, because we have all, I think, at some point talked about the need for a better use of analytics. Now, I can't sit here and tell you on July the 15th that I know a whole lot about what Sports Source Analytics does to come up with its team success ranking, how different it may be from what Bill Connolly does at ESPN or what, some teams' RPI might look like, I don't know, if Jerry Palm and Ken Palm have something, some kind of football equivalent or whatever else, right? You and I kind of joked a few months ago. We were talking about some of the things the CFP needed to do and saying how, if I'm the Big Ten, I'm not trusting Bill Connolly's ESPN number, even though ESPN has the whole CFP, but they'll just favor the SEC because that's their, whatever. So I'd like to see college football because it won't be the NCAA, but I'd like to see college football get behind something. So is Sports Source Analytics? Again, I'll learn more about them in the coming days and weeks. Will other conferences want to? I know the SEC's trying to get some things done with analytics too in the tiebreaker system.
Well, it's sad that these conferences, again, maybe somebody will come up with a tie-breaking system that makes so much sense. I don't know. The College Football Playoff Committee could use it. But that's why earlier today I was just like, look, I'd like to see what your system's going to be because I'm interested because it's got to be better than what you did last year. But, the easiest one is just to say we'll take the top two. The tiebreaker is whoever's ranked higher in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
That would be the easy way to do it, right? But if they're going to come up with a system that, because you know what that's saying? That just hit me. This just hit me. Every now and then, what's left of my brain cells that I, left at a party at Ocean City, Maryland. This tells you, because that's the simplest way to do it, right, Jay?
Yeah. You'd think. You would think,
but the ACC is. But I don't know if this is really what they mean, but it almost says we have so little confidence in how the college football playoff is doing their thing.
Ding, ding,
we
ding.
want to do our own.
Yes.
That's what it's telling you,
I'll
right?
golf clap you.
That's what it's telling you.
Because that's what it is, and that's why that's why I'm saying, you and I talked about this. That what does the CFP committee need in terms of better discussion points, better use of metrics, whatever, however you want to couch it, and this may be one of them. I don't know. Again, I'd love for Ken Pomeroy to come up with a football one.
Yeah.
Or again, there's plenty of smart people that can come up with a football equivalent of the NCAA's net ranking that they use in basketball. There's a way.
Yeah.
And there's also a way beyond just the formation of said formula to have the group as a whole come together behind it. It may take a little tweaking here and there, and here's MIT's version, and here's Cal Poly's version, and here's Tulane's version, and here's Cal Berkeley's version. I don't give a crap what smart people you got doing it. Yeah,
Right.
have at it, man. Have NASA do one. I don't care.
It'd be fun if NASA did one.
Sure. They got smart people.
That.
Jet Propulsion Laboratory, all that. They know how to come up with stuff.
It'd be like a Goodwill, Goodwill hunting program.
Yeah, if they can get people to the moon and back, man, I got confidence.
I would have confidence in you. You can do that.
I got confidence.
You might know what's going on.
Yeah, your math is good. I'm giving you props for your math.
I'm with you. And look, it's just. I think part of it is too, because one of the pulls for college football as fans, media, whatever, is that basically off the field, it's a 10-car pileup on the highway every day.
Right.
And we love to rubberneck.
Yeah.
And that's what we do for college athletics, especially college football. We're a bunch of rubberneckers.
Right.
We watch this disaster unfold in front of us. And I think college football goes, yeah, but you know what? If we get together all these smart analytic eggheads and they put together a system and it spits out, we can't have the show every week. We can't argue on social media. We're not going to have Greg McElroy.
We still argue.
Yell at the computer.
Yeah, we'll still.
We can't do all these things we do to
Danny Cannell will still hate the SEC. I assure you, it don't matter what the computer says.
I really think that they
hacked the computer. That'll be Danny Cannell's thing the next day. They hacked it.
They did that SEC. Yeah. You know the Darth Vaders of the SEC.
There's really smart people at Texas and Georgia and Vandy and Florida, and they'll find a way.
Exactly, because they know.
Those are good schools.
They're like Tom Cruise coming through the ceiling in Mission Impossible, but they're wearing SEC. That would be their great SEC shorts.
Sure. Yeah, coming in.
Hacking the computer with Tom Cruise. He's wearing SEC. Right. But it's just like, I think there's part of the people of the powers that be don't want to fix this to where it makes sense. They like the sloppiness of the arguments and the fights and the think systems. And for our purpose, it is great. But if we want to, God forbid, be fair, you got to come up with a tiebreaker system.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
what you're doing is you need something better. But anyway, ACC going to a new tiebreaker system. Will it help? Well, let's see. Yeah, look,
I'm interested.
Get lucky and just have two teams with better records than everybody else. Don't have a 5-way tie or whatever it was last year. But this is the danger of having
50 teams in your conference.
Yeah, but I still to be serious for a minute, I still prefer these kinds of things to the old divisional system where in any given year, again, you might have a couple of undefeateds on one side or at least an undefeated on one side and maybe a one loss on behind them. And then on the other side, you got, 3 losses.
Well, remember
whatever.
the Big Ten every year, it was one division had all the really good teams or the upper level teams. And then like Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State would be playing, no offense, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Or Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And Wisconsin.
SEC had it for a while where the West was just, had the dominant, Bama, LSU just dominating.
It just wasn't even in
Georgia wasn't
quality
quite there
teams. Yet. Yeah. And no offense, one year Wisconsin got over and actually won the thing.
Yeah.
But usually it was going to be one of those teams from Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State. I forgot they call it the Legends and Leaders or something.
Yeah,
goofy.
Leaders and Legends.
Yeah,
and then
whatever the hell it
ACC
was.
had the Atlantic and the Coastal, which I used to always ask which one's by the water. And,
Yeah. That's
so,
actually pretty good.
To continue our integrated media headlines of the day, because we'll come back around to some of that football talk, I assure you. But the NCAA Rules Subcommittee, Terry, not the full-on committee, just a subcommittee, has okayed implementation of the ABS challenge system in college baseball. Baseball America, the first to report this. It can be used in any game where the technology is available, including the use of TrackMan. Now, the Baseball Oversight Committee must still approve this, but a quote is expected to be implemented in 2027. The SEC used this in the conference tournament. It went very well. Greg Sankey saying, quote, the introduction of this challenge system reflects our continued commitment to innovation. This addition represents a continued step forward for our game, aligns more closely with the professional level, and supports the development of our student athletes as they prepare for success at the next level. End quote from Greg Sankey after the SEC tournament a couple of months ago. So looks like it's going to happen if you can do it. And if you can't, well, then you're going to hope that the umpire behind the plate is good at what he does.
Well, are they?
You're going to hope the umpire behind the plate is good at what he does.
The new SEC head of umpiring, Angel Hernandez.
Oh, God. Finally, the Open Championship starts early our time tomorrow morning. Scotty Scheffler, the reigning champion, heads in as the betting favorite in terms of the bookmakers, but the bettors themselves are favoring more European players. Scotty is plus 680 to win this thing. Rory McIlroy, second best at plus 830. Matt Fitzpatrick, the Englishman, plus 1750, as is his countryman Tommy Fleetwood, and Spain's John Rahm at plus 1950. But they are getting a little bit of love across the pond. So I don't know if Scotty goes back-to-back or not. Again, he's been so close at so many tournaments this year, and I think he's only won once. And for the world number one, that's just
he's
not his.
He's had slow starts the first couple rounds and had to come back on the weekends, and he's just fallen short, man.
So we shall see, but it starts early tomorrow morning at Royal Birkdale in Southport. Need to get Coach on. We'll have Coach McDonald.
Yeah, so you get Coach set up for that.
We'll get that. We'll make that happen. And I don't know. I like to see Scotty go back to back. That's fun.
I mean, Scotty's it's hard to root against him unless you just go, wow, the guy's too dull. He seems like a nice guy.
But I like a lot of those guys.
Yeah,
Anybody but Patrick Reed, man. Anybody but Patrick Reed. I don't even know if he's playing this year. I have to.
He's American. So you would rather see any of the Brits win than the American, Patrick Reed.
Anybody but Patrick Reed. Citizens of Earth. Sorry to those of you who are more jingoistic than I suppose. I love my country.
Just not that much. But you hate Patrick Reed more than you love America. Think about that. You do.
Maybe. That's the integrated media headlines of the day. The Gamecock Notebook is next. Love telling you about our friends at Cato's Power Equipment, where I have been getting the stuff I need to make my yard look good for many, many years now. Ben Cato sets me up great. Yeah, he and Matt and the whole crew, fantastic at what they do. They've been doing it family owned since 1983, still serving the Columbia community. And listen, it's not just, the homeowners, but the professional landscapers, and also, again, those of you who work in, if you will, government or campus landscaping. And it doesn't just mean on a school, but I mean those who take care of hospital campuses, business campuses, and you're doing it full time. Cato's can help you keep everything that you do looking absolutely fantastic. And a lot of you need service to keep everything running smoothly and get back to work as quickly as possible. The Cato Service Department gets you in and out real quick. Again, family owned and operated since 1983, 4012 West Beltline Boulevard. Whether you do it for yourself or you do it for a living, see Cato's Power Equipment. It is Gamecock Notebook time on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Before we do the Gamecock stuff and raise y'all's blood pressure. Mine's already been raised once by this, but we wanted you to hear it again. Or it's not that I want you to hear it. It's that if I'm going to get my blood pressure raised up, or,
Why be alone?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Argentina has beaten England 2-1. 2 late goals in this one. Anthony Gordon scored for England in the 55th. Then Chelsea's Enzo Fernandez. Anthony Gordon, by the way, going to play for Barcelona next year from England. Enzo Fernandez of Chelsea in the 85th, and Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan, big club in Italy. They won the Italian league last year. Lautaro scored in the extra time, second minute of extra time. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, you see me in my England jersey and my Arsenal cap. I was again, look, pulling for America first, pulling for England second. I'm a fan of the sport, so I know that England had a much better chance to win this tournament than the United States did. Again, it was the first time since the FIFA World Rankings ever came out that it was the 1, 2, 3, and 4 ranked teams in the world in the semifinal. So that was cool in and of itself. It's going to be a great final. Listen, Argentina can score, and Spain keeps you from scoring.
You're saying Spain stops you from scoring.
Something's got to give.
Yeah, it does. Sunday
in New York.
And it's interesting because, again, Spain has been dominant through this run for the most part through the World Cup.
One goal given up in all their games.
And Argentina has, like, held on by the skin of their teeth.
And then they score late. I need to go look, and I won't do it right now, obviously, but we need to go look. But I'd love to know of all of the total number of goals Argentina has scored, how many of them have come after the 80th minute.
I mean, because
it's got to be at least 6 or 7 of them.
Been a lot of late scoring. Like, obviously, now 2 huge comebacks. And
I mean, today that was. And again, Fernandez scored. You saw that goal that he scored, Terry, and I told you about a minute prior to him scoring that one, he also drilled a cannon shot that went about a foot over the bar.
And then you said somebody hit the post.
And then right before he scored, somebody hit the post. I mean, they were on full on attack, and England was in just gulp mode. And that's me being kind. All right, let's do this. Terry got my blood pressure up earlier, and maybe some other Gamecock fans too. Let's just play the first one.
All right, this is Paul Mainieri on a podcast on WABF television, talking about, and this isn't the stuff from NOLA.com. This is a podcast he just did for the TV station WAFB in Baton Rouge. Here's Paul Mainieri talking about his tenure at South Carolina.
I went there, and you inherit a team that's got some weaknesses, of course. So the first year didn't go so great, and then we started in the second year when we finally could recruit. But what a different world this recruiting is now, with the transfer portal and open transfers and NIL and revenue share and all that stuff. And we got off to a little bit of a slow start. I think we were like 12-11 or something. And, I had a meeting with the athletic director, and we just kind of agreed that it was time for me to head back to Baton Rouge, where I could go home, and maybe they try somebody else, because it was gonna take time there, and I really didn't have the time, at my age, and I always felt the job there was going to be a temporary assignment, but I thought it could put in 2, 3, maybe 4 years and get the program going, but. They were a little impatient about it, and I wasn't, really feeling it either. So we made an agreement to head home. But like I told you, I wrote out a lot of lineups in my life. Only 80 of those were at South Carolina. So I hope, it's people's prerogative to judge me however they want to. But, for me, it was just a kind of a short-term thing.
You're going to be judged much more harshly for your time here by the people here for saying things like that too. 12-11, you lost to Northern Kentucky. You lost to Army. You lost to Queens College. You were swept by Clemson. No, you beat Clemson. Sorry, you beat last year, I guess. But you beat Clemson the first game, then lost the other 2 to Clemson.
And then you got skull kicked by Arkansas.
Lost to the Citadel. Swept by Florida. Lost to Charlotte. And yes, then the final game, 22-6 in Columbia in 7 innings to, at the time, the 4th-ranked team in the country, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Terry, to say, I'm not sure. I know why he's doing it. It's a way to attempt to save face and to go back to more friendly territory in Baton Rouge and in Louisiana and say, hey, those people over there, they don't get it like we get it.
Yeah.
And
I'm home.
and you know, and I'm back here now, and you guys love me, and they were impatient. No, you know,
I'm gonna ask you a question. I think I've asked you this before.
please.
All right, let's take that snapshot of the 80 games of the Paul Mainieri era.
Okay.
Let's transfer that to Baton Rouge.
Okay.
How patient are the folks in Baton Rouge for
You
that?
don't get the
80
second
game?
year.
Saying.
You don't get the second year because you clearly look at it and go, well, that ain't working. Because all the things that he said were holding him back were there to begin with. If you weren't prepared for that, that's on you. The game didn't, the sport, the game, the business didn't, you didn't get hired and then the next day, oh, crap.
Nobody told me this.
I mean, it was there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a you problem. That's not a, and it almost sounds like he's making it a University of South Carolina baseball problem.
Right. Like, it was like, ready? They support the program, top 7 operational budget. You got a passionate fan base. You got a history of winning. What didn't you get, Paul?
Yeah. And again, you know.
What handcuffed you?
Right.
You.
You were brought in, and I won't go back and rehash it again, other than to say that the team that finished the year before you got hired was a 2 seed in the tournament. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, relative to annual expectation, it needed some help. But it didn't need you to take the wheel of the vehicle and drive it into the ditch.
Right.
And then in the second year, as you attempted to get it out of the ditch, it rolled all the way down the hill and blew up like one of those scenes in an action film.
And then you got out and blamed the vehicle.
Yeah. Well, that was the car's fault.
What, me?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what he's doing. Or either saying, well, you know, if they didn't have those asphalt roads.
Right.
But they changed the roads, you know, or it's almost like saying, well, you know, the Maps app told me no.
Just look, man.
You got eyes and you got thumbs.
Right.
Get the car out of the ditch.
Didn't work for you, man. It's as simple as that.
I mean, I'm not. It's not accurate to say some of the things that he is saying. Again, Carolina baseball doesn't need me or you or whomever to prop it up and defend it. But to go to somewhere, you know, those people over there will buy it hook, line, and sinker.
Well, and he's pandering. He's playing to the crowd.
But and again, you know, it was going to take time there.
Yeah.
Relative, and I asked you this, I know it's a rhetorical question. But then again, it doesn't have to be. Relative to where?
Yeah.
You know, where wouldn't it? I mean, again, they were a 2 seed, Coach.
And
a 2 seed. You needed to go get him, you know, another Friday night starter and a back of the bullpen guy, and maybe somebody to hit between slots 3 and 6 to drive in a couple more runs, or what it needed. It needed minor tweaks to get back to where it was a year prior to that, which was a 1 seed in a super regional team.
It's almost like that guy that shows up wearing his mechanic gear, and the car just needs a little tune-up.
Just needs an oil change.
And he blows the engine.
And then the whole thing's on the ground?
Everything.
I took it apart.
Yeah, that car.
Can you put it back together? Well, I took it apart.
That's right. You want me to do everything?
Right. Hey, come on.
Come on, man.
Drive around the SEC is next. Integrated Media ready to help you get your football watching done better than ever before. If you have been wanting, hoping, dreaming about a new home theater system, now as we head into the final stretch of summer, is a great time to call Integrated. Get ahead of that football rush, 803-948-8327. Maybe you've got a cool setup at the house already in terms of the room that your home theater is in, but you're ready for today's best equipment or just a tweak with some experts to get everything even better. Maybe you want to take that outdoor home theater experience to another level, maybe from the first level. Maybe you don't have one yet. They can do that for you, too, with equipment that is built to be outside all year long. I love what they've done for me and my family. Plus, listen, they can control your lights, thermostat, security system, all from one app on your phone or tablet. And home technology is what they specialize in. 803-948-8327. Call my friends at Integrated Media.
A lot of accidents still on the board. Some still haven't been cleared up yet. Two Notch Road at North Grampian Hills. Percival Road at Antler Way. Also Leesburg Road at Fairmont Drive. I-20 westbound at 2 Notch at exit 74. I-20 westbound at I-77 exit 76. UG at Blossom. Fairfield at Prescott. Ermine at Old Barnwell Road. All of these still being cleaned up. We'll get back in here. A drive around the SEC on the postgame show with Jay and Terry here on the Game Network at the Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is Drive Around the SEC time here on a Wednesday. Kind of quiet in SEC land. It's the calm before the storm. Next week we hit SEC Media Days. South Carolina's turn is Tuesday. I'm curious to see what people think about South Carolina next week. It's funny, Terry, through the years, Carolina ebbs and flows so much that, to the point you made yesterday, when you come in with a lot of hype, it seems like they don't quite live up to it. And in the years when you're not supposed to do anything, you find a way to, defy the odds. South Carolina won't be picked last, obviously, but probably 12th.
I think anywhere between 9th and 12th wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, 11, 12. I could see him as high as 10. I know Chris Lowe has him at 10, and you talked about Phil Steele projecting at the end of the season they're in the top 20 in the country, and I could see that too. But I know enough of how SEC Media Days voting goes.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Phil Steele and Chris Lowe and those guys aren't part of the SEC media voting.
Right.
All right, you figure, okay, South Carolina will be ahead of Arkansas, Mississippi State, Kentucky, no-brainers there.
Yeah, and probably Vandy. So
Vandy's going to, because they've lost so much.
And that puts you at 12.
Yeah,
that's why I say
you might be ahead of Auburn.
You might.
New coach.
You might.
Even though, a lot of SEC folks just vote for Auburn because they're Auburn.
Right.
There's others like, look, Florida, whether you agree, disagree, get upset, whatever, Florida will be picked ahead of South Carolina because, again, the SEC media, they look at Florida every year like Tim Tebow's walking through that door with Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier. That's just what the media does for Florida. Tennessee's going to be interesting because their defense at the end of the year couldn't stop a nosebleed. They got a huge, huge question mark at quarterback. But I still think they'll get ranked ahead of South Carolina.
Right.
But if they don't, let's say they don't, let's say Auburn doesn't, then you get to 10. Then you're at 10.
Yeah. Next Wednesday's lineup, by the way, because we're kind of looking ahead from week to week. Again, Carolina goes on Tuesday. But next Wednesday, so a week from today, Kalen DeBoer in Alabama, John Sumrall in Florida, Pete Golding in Mississippi, Mike Elko and Texas A&M. I'll be honest with you, it's probably the single best day in terms of a big time vibe. On Carolina's day, Kirby is going, but and Alex Golish at Auburn and Clark Lee at Vandy. The final day is Arkansas, LSU, State, and Texas. But the next Wednesday, Kalen DeBoer, time to go win a national championship. Pete Golding, can you and Trinidad get back to the national semifinal? Mike Elko, will you finally break through? And John Sumrall, you're hired to take all that talent and do something with it. So it's an interesting day next week. But you asked me, about Kalen DeBoer pressure and Lane Kiffin pressure yesterday. And this is the year that Kalen will begin to feel it in ways that he hasn't yet. And remember, they made a big deal of making sure that he was extended properly and given
Michigan was sniffing around.
Yeah, and that made a lot of Alabama fans not angry, but just like, why are we doing that?
It was more like confused, bewildered. It was like, what are we doing here?
And in some cases, like for instance, there were a lot of. I remember talking to some of my media buddies around the conference when Carolina gave Will Muschamp a big raise and extension, and the questions to me were something along the lines of, why is Carolina negotiating against itself? Alabama wasn't, to your point. And I think maybe some Bama fans thought they were, but they weren't.
Can I throw something at you, though, real quick? And I think at some point it's going to happen because of the ungodly sums of money in these buyouts now. What would have been wrong? You've had 2 years of Kalen DeBoer.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit here and compare it to Nick because that's ridiculous.
No, you can't.
But they were solid years, but they weren't great years, right? You made the playoff and then, you got boat raced. But you didn't win a game.
That Indiana game, though, was
ugly.
Ugly.
And that's the last thing you saw.
Yeah, it was
right.
It was ugly, man.
So if you're Alabama and the agent comes and says, hey, Michigan's talking to my guy, why can't you say this? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let Michigan talk to him. If Michigan offers, come back and give me a chance to give you a counter offer, or at least give me a chance to talk with you. But go get your offer. Why do you automatically have to go give this kind of ridiculous extension? Because let's say Kalen DeBoer, and look, I'm a huge fan of DeBoer, but let's say it never gets but what it is now. That's not acceptable these days at Alabama.
Right.
Nor really should it be.
Right.
Okay, now I'm stuck with him because I got a buyout. Look at Florida State. The only reason Mike Norvell's the head coach of Florida State is that buyout, which is $72 million.
Yep.
We've seen these
And the reason that buyout is where it is because he was getting ready to be Alabama's coach.
And they redid his deal. I mean, so really what we've got here are agents are a hell of a lot smarter than ADs and presidents. They show up. Jimmy Sexton pretty much holds the entire industry.
You know, I
hostage.
get your point. I won't push back. I'll play devil's advocate. Are they smarter or are they simply okay? I'm gonna play semantics with you.
Okay.
They're not smarter. They're savvier because they understand. To your point, Bama would rather pay Kalen DeBoer to stay than to have to go wading back into the pool of candidates.
And I just think
and the agents know that. Like, you don't want to have to go try to find that guy again. You don't want to start over again.
I just think that you gotta take a step back as an AD. Have confidence in yourself.
Right.
And understand that some of these guys, look, there's a difference between being a good coach and a great coach. And you're paying some good coaches great coach money, or they're a solid coach. But there's like a ceiling on these guys. And now you corner yourself because you paid this guy because you know what you are? You're scared.
Yeah.
You're scared you're going to let this guy walk. He's going to go win a national championship in Michigan.
Yeah.
And then the guy you hire is going to soil himself.
And the agent knows that. That's what I'm saying. The agent knows you don't want to go find the next guy again. You think you already found the guy. That's why you're paying my guy all the money. Just make sure he stays.
If you're the AD, you don't want to put your job in jeopardy by taking a step back and go, okay, go get an offer.
Yeah.
But now a lot of these guys have put themselves in bad spots because they're stuck with a coach they don't want.
Well, and to your point, maybe more directly, and to some of the Bama fans' point, okay, if Kalen DeBoer wants to, at that point in time, what you could also do, and I know this sounds a little far-fetched, and it's too late now, but you might have created that separation immediately that you need because, again, no matter what Kalen DeBoer does, he's still the guy that followed Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And so few people, I'm trying to think, Terry. I mean, John Shire is kind of bucking the trend, and even he has taken Duke basketball almost like they shouldn't have lost to Connecticut, but somehow they found a way to lose to Connecticut. Coach K wouldn't have lost.
Yeah, shouldn't have lost to Houston the year before.
And yet I think people look at John Shire and go, well, he has followed it. And there's a couple of examples out there that I'm not thinking of right off the bat. And it's not quite the same in the pro ranks as it is in the collegiate ranks. But creating that separation early gives you that chance to say, all right, well, now my next guy isn't the guy that followed Nick.
Yeah. And he left.
You had a chance perhaps to at least so I'm with you to that point of like, oh, okay, go see what they and you're from up that way or whatever. Yeah, sure, man, that's cool. Well, because it's back to Alabama, you'll get somebody.
Yeah,
somebody will call their agent and go, get me out of this.
Especially now that you're not the guy following the guy anymore.
Yeah, you could. I mean, listen, I know Dan Lanning's happy, but you can get him.
Everybody's got a number.
You can get him.
Everybody's got a number.
That's the drive around the SEC. Jay versus the Internet next. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of the program on this Wednesday. Once again, unless you are taped it and want to go home. So if you did, I'll give you the score of the World Cup semifinal between England and Argentina. But if you don't want to know, I'm going to count down to 3, 2, 1, and then you turn your radio down for about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Argentina beat England 2-1, scoring 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. All right. Now it's time for Jay versus the internet. Ask me, no, actually don't, because that way we don't spoil it for anybody else.
Yeah, we've already done the 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. For those of you who missed it earlier, we were talking yesterday. Terry had Jay versus the internet as the with the All-Star game as the point of reference for yesterday. And I said, well, I'm pulling for the National League, but the American League is going to win because that's what they do. And we went back and looked earlier, and in the last 40 All-Star games, the American League has won 30 of them. The National League has won 9 times, and there was that stupid tie in 2002.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
30 wins for the American League in the last 40 games. That's just terrible. And here's the thing. The National League isn't sitting there going, dadgummit, we got to, next year, we're going to find, they don't care.
No.
They don't care.
And that's the funny thing, because when you and I grew up,
they cared.
They cared because, again, there was no interleague play. Their free agency wasn't that much.
Very rarely did guys change leagues even. Remember Pete, I know you do. Pete Rose, when Pete Rose joined the Expos, I guess that was basically, other than going to be the player manager for the Reds, which was truly his last time as a player. But when he went to play for the Expos, there were like half a dozen American League teams that were they were after him because he's Pete Rose and he's a draw. And he's like, no, I'm staying in the National League. Now, again, it was somewhat selfish, but it's still very Pete Rose-esque, if you will. I'm staying in the National League because I'm a National League guy, and all my records are in the National League. Like, I want to keep playing. I'm a National Leaguer. So it was both my records are here, and I want to keep that going, but also I'm a National League guy. I mean, he played for the Reds, played for the Phillies, and he went to the Expos.
And it was a thing
which was weird, by the way, when he played for the Expos.
It was kind of bizarre.
It was weird.
That uniform just looked weird.
It was weird.
Here's the interesting part. Before that run, I want to look this up because in totality, the American League has 49 wins and the National League has 45.
Yeah.
So before this American League run, the National League was 34-19.
Right.
The National League had dominated this thing.
Yeah.
And I remember, I was reading an article in a newspaper. That's how long ago it was. How the National League guys were talking about the pride they took in beating the American League and the fact that the guys before them were beating them and they wanted to keep it going and all this stuff. Remember back then you had an American League the executive and a National League, like Chubb Feeney and Lee McPhail or whatever.
They had different rules. I mean, again, the DH thing was done only by the American League owners. And
remember high strike zone, low strike zone, each league. Yeah. And just was
their own umpires.
Yeah, it was just so much pride in your league. And now it's just like, we're just here having some fun. It's an exhibition. We'll put microphones on everybody and we'll yip and yap and have a. Back then, I mean, remember, Pete Rose ended Ray Fosse's career by running him over.
I think was the last time the game had that level of true commitment.
It was intense.
Because then people went, whoa, Pete.
Now, to Pete's credit, after he knocked the hell out of him, he did go to pick him up and check if he was okay.
Yeah, but nevertheless.
But that's the way the game was.
It was. I mean, they took it a lot. And again, the starting lineup stayed in the game.
Could you see today a base runner barreling over the catcher in the All-Star game today?
No, hell no.
Hell no. Well, first of all, you can't really barrel them over anymore.
No, you can't. But they won't even, if they have to run hard at them, it'll be like, well, I guess I'm going to be out.
It's an All-Star game, dude. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you.
You might get hurt, too.
And this is going to sound weird. I prefer it like that because do you want to see the most important player on your favorite team when your team is trying to chase a playoff spot get hurt in the All-Star game?
No.
A game that means nothing? No, not at all. So as much as we go, these guys just out there fiddling around or whatever, it's an exhibition game.
Yeah.
It means nothing.
I mean, it's less than, I hate to say it's less than an exhibition game because it's not even two teams playing. It's a collection of guys that are just they're there for the party.
That's really
which is
what
fine. I got
That's
no
okay.
problem with that.
You're basically
It's like the NFL guys. You don't need to play it. Again, all the decades of playing a tackle football game for like, what do we do? What are we doing?
I know.
What are we? You're tackling these guys.
100%.
What are we doing?
I mean, you're sitting there going, yeah, you are all right. Our all-pro wide receiver just tore his ACL playing in Hawaii in the
Right.
Pro Bowl.
Right.
Really?
Right.
Come on now. Oh, by the way, your Jay versus the Internet.
Yes.
Who wins in the WNBA, Valkyries or Fever?
Oh, give me the
Indiana
Fever.
by -1.5.
Fever, man.
Good Fever?
Go,
Okay.
Aaliyah. Go,
There you go.
Caitlin.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, that's Jay versus the Internet.
Thanks. All right, we'll do it again tomorrow.
All right, we'll do this again tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.
Been dreaming of turning your backyard into a permanent vacation spot? Look no further than our friends at Griffin Pools and Spas. They have an incredible range of in-ground and above-ground pools. If you're a fan of a sleek, seamless in-ground pool, or you want the affordability and the convenience of an above-ground pool, they can get it done for you. They have so many to choose from and so many options to fit your budget, to fit your wants, to fit your needs. You and your family can enjoy these things for years to come. And let's face it, it's not just the summer around here, right?